we, allowed to be in here?
Obviously, we're expected.
Right. I mean, if we want to keep the proceedings private, keep it out of the press.
I'll get the door.
Okay.
Katie? Have you seen the judge?
Did you know about this?
What?
The revised witness list?
My sister, Bill?
Is this where we're supposed to be?
Maybe we should wait outside.
I need to talk to you a second.
Hey, that's not gonna happen.
Bridge.
You subpoenaed my wife so you can pit her against your sister. Again.
Why are you even here?
You know why I'm here.
Excuse me.
Really?
Who
Nothing?
let you people in?
Sorry, folks. There was a holdup at the metal detector this morning. Should you all have a seat, please?
Court is now in session. The Honorable Craig McMullen presiding.
At the request of both parties, I've agreed to hear these matters in chambers today. Given the close quarters here, I think we can relax with some of the formalities. All right. We're here today to consider a petition by the plaintiff, Miss Logan.
Your Honor, Carter Walton for the plaintiff. My client's legal name is Katie Logan Forrester. I brought a copy of the marriage license.
Filed, what, an hour ago?
Congratulations, Mrs. Forrester. Your motion seeks to set aside the agreement for joint custody of your son with the defendant, Mr. William Spencer, Jr., and asks this court to grant you sole custody, physical and legally, of the boy, revoking Mr. Spencer's custodial rights. Is that correct?
Not with regard to visitation.
That's a secondary question that can only be answered after the first. Now, who are all these other people, bailiff?
Anyone who was asked or received a subpoena to testify, please wait outside until you're called.
My client and the defendant are amicably divorced. Anger and vindictiveness are not what brings us here. Our petition simply recognizes that for the better part of a year, Mr. Spencer failed in meeting his joint custody obligations. And second, his erratic parental behavior makes it imperative that the boy's mother should have the authority to curtail it for the child's welfare. Thank you.
Mr. Barber.
Your Honor, good morning.
Good morning.
All of us at some point in our lives find ourselves in the humiliating position of failing to keep our commitments. Mr. Spencer acknowledges, and he has for a time, failed to meet the terms of the custody agreement. The sad irony is that his good faith efforts to correct this failure were met with this attempt to strip away his custodial rights. Kids get mad at their dads, maybe even throw tantrums. But does anyone really believe that the solution is to strip the boy's father from his life?
So you're here. Loyal to Daddy, aren't you?
I don't think we're supposed to discuss the case.
Thorne Forrester.
Yes.
So he's dangling the keys to the kingdom? How many sports cars do you need, Wyatt?
There's nothing wrong with loyalty, Rich.
No, there's not. So where's your loyalty to Katie?
I'm not against anyone.
And you really think Justin Barber's gonna allow you to be Switzerland? Or you?
Mr. Forrester, how long have you known your stepson?
I've not seen much of Will before this year, but we've spent a lot of time together since spring, I guess.
Because your relationship with his mother became more romantic.
Partly, and partly because I saw there was no male role model in the child's life. His brothers weren't around much, and his father wasn't around at all.
May I ask when you proposed to your new bride?
About a week ago.
Quick trip from the ring box to the altar, then from the altar to this hearing. Has it even been 24 hours?
Not quite.
But you wanted to present yourself to this court as a warm, traditional, loving, two-parent family home. Why not? Could be a winning strategy.
We married for ourselves, and now it doesn't make me Will's father.
You're just no longer Mommy's boyfriend.
That's right. I love Will. He's a great kid. He's full of energy and ideas. Except for when his father comes around and demands attention. He regresses.
And your ideas of fatherhood come from?
I had a daughter. She's deceased.
Sorry, I know that's probably a sensitive subject matter. Perhaps your daughter had some mental health issues.
Allie had emotional problems, yes.
Nothing to do with the way she was raised, I imagine.
I know exactly when it started. She lost her mother at a young age.
Yet you don't think that losing his father would have a similar effect on Will?
Not sure how you can compare the two. Her mother's dead, and Will's father is sitting right there.
No further questions.
Who have we next, Mr. Walton?
I would like to call Ridge Forrester.
I know you just assigned a case. It would mean the world to me if full custody went to the mother.
Ridge Forrester. Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly state the testimony you may give in the case before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Mr. Forrester, how long have you known Katie?
I've known Katie since she was 16 years old.
And Mr. Spencer?
About 10 years.
And in that time, have you formed an opinion of them as parents?
One of the main reasons we reinstated daycare at Forrester is because Katie insisted on bringing her boy to work. So I saw a lot of those two running around the hallways. And Bill, I don't think I've ever seen him with his son. Not a lot of people have. But I do know his eldest boy, Liam. Used to be my son-in-law until Bill destroyed their marriage.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness can hardly testify to the private workings of a marriage he has no party to.
Agreed.
So you're only looking for direct experience that I've had with this gentleman? What about attempted murder? He threw me out of a helicopter.
Your Honor.
And I think you were the one flying it. Am I right about
I
that?
wish to strike these outrageous accusations from the record.
Surely Mr. Spencer's violent acts are relevant in a court of law.
As a result of this incident, were there any criminal charges filed against Mr. Spencer?
It happened outside the country, so no.
Motion to strike is granted. Move on, Mr. Walton.
Mr. Forrester, is it fair to say that you and your brother have had animosity over the years?
Yeah, that is fair to say.
So given your experience with these two men who you don't get along with, who do you believe is most likely to represent stability for a child?
There is nothing stable about that guy. He's arrogant, he's erratic. He starts to yell and scream and throw stuff, or worse, when he doesn't get his way. So you know what? Maybe it was a blessing for the little kid to be abandoned by him. And my brother, he is even-mannered, and he always puts his family before his career. And when his wife died, when his daughter died, I thought he was going to crumble. But he didn't. He became even more sensitive to people's feelings and their needs. I think he's going to be an incredible stepdad. And the little boy will blossom. If Your Honor sees fit to make the right choice.
You weren't raised by your father.
No, I didn't even know who he was. My mother didn't want me to.
And when you two finally did meet?
We didn't get along. And then we did. And then we didn't. And so on and so forth.
And now?
We're not exactly on speaking terms.
Why is that?
Not much to say, I guess.
Does your father, as a parent, believe in physical punishment?
I don't know. That you'd have to ask.
Has he ever struck you?
He's not a child. He tried to steal my company.
Mr. Spencer, one more word and you'll be escorted out of here. Answer the question.
Yeah, he struck me. Just didn't have much to do with parenting, but he struck me.
You've recently become a father yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. I got a phone full of baby photos to prove it.
Were you happily married at the time?
I was happily married. My wife and I split up before the baby was born.
Care to tell us why?
I found out that my father slept with my wife. He wanted me to think that it was an ongoing affair that turned out to be a lie. It was just a one time. But he now says he's done pursuing her.
So is it fair to say that your father neglected his youngest son for months while chasing his eldest son's pregnant wife?
Well, it would be true. I don't know if it's fair.
I think that's all. Thank you.
Actually, am I allowed to say something else?
To me, yes.
You know, we're asking about how my father treats Will, how he treated me, and all of that is appropriate, but the father-child relationship, it's not a one-way street. Clearly, my dad loves Will. Clearly, he wants to spend more time with him, and I just think it's worth asking what good the two of them could do for each other.
Dad's gonna lose, isn't he?
Maybe. I just don't see how anybody could keep him from his son.
My mother did.
And when you found out, did you thank her? I would hate for Katie to have that day of reckoning with Will.
I have been keeping track of the days where Bill was supposed to take Will. I have a calendar, actually. Thorne, could you hand that to me? Thank you.
And for the record, what are we looking at?
This is a calendar that hangs in my kitchen. I put all the dates down on this, all of our commitments, as well as my laptop. It kind of gives Will an idea of where he's supposed to be. For instance, we have swimming twice a week. A few months ago, we had soccer 3 times a week, that sort of thing.
Why is the third week of January all whited out?
That was a week that he was supposed to spend with Bill, and I didn't want my son to dwell on it. I started kind of crossing weeks off, and by summer, I just stopped writing down Bill's days because I felt like it made my son feel forgotten. And I was hoping that maybe Bill would show up with ice cream or a toy, you know, some kind of surprise. But that surprise never happened.
Is it accurate to say that you're only asking the court to recognize the de facto situation? You are Will's sole custodial parent?
I don't...
Let me put it another way.
No, let me. I just want to be really clear about this. This is a last resort. The expectations of joint custody are really tough on my kid, especially since Bill can't fulfill those expectations. Now, Thorne and I, we can give my son a safe, happy, stable home where he's not waiting around for somebody who's not going to show up.
With visitation?
Yes, of course, absolutely.
And what if nothing changes? Mr. Spencer makes visitation plans and doesn't show.
Well, then if I have sole custody, I will have some sort of recourse.
Are you aware that Mr. Spencer subpoenaed your old medical records for this hearing?
No.
Apparently, your doctors at the time told you you'd be unable to conceive.
I'm a heart transplant recipient, and my doctors thought that the anti-rejection drugs that I was on would make it impossible. Clearly, they were wrong.
And when you discovered you were pregnant, Mr. Spencer did not want you to have the child, did he?
He was concerned.
In fact, he wanted you to abort it.
He was scared. My doctors thought that if I carried the baby to term, that it might end my life, it might kill me, and in fact, it almost did. And Bill pleaded with me. He tried to intimidate me, and he cried. But at the end of the day, ultimately, he realized that it was my choice. It was my body and my decision, and he supported it. There are moments in this life where you feel truly loved and truly supported, and that was one of my moments.
Nothing further.
Anything for the witness, Mr. Barber?
I just wanted to say, Katie, I was very touched by your defense of Bill.
Well, it was only the truth.
Always thought you two had a rare understanding.
We did. Until we didn't.
In fact, you don't want to be here, do you?
No, I don't.
In fact, this quickie marriage, this play for custody, are you sure you're not being used by the Forrester brothers or their vendetta against
All right,
your
let's just
ex-husband?
stop right there. Let's stop. Because I am tired of some people in this room thinking that I don't know my own mind. I'll tell you why I'm here. I am here for one reason and one reason only. My responsibility to my son. That responsibility truly is the only responsibility I have in my life, really. I mean, the other responsibilities you choose, right? To your job, to your friends, to your family, to yourself. But your commitment to your child and his well-being, that is unbreakable. And anything or anyone who gets in the way of that, I will not tolerate it. I will fight against it. My son is a child right now. But, oh man, we're gonna blink. We're gonna blink and he's gonna be a man. And I want that man to know how to trust. I want that man to be able to receive love and to feel like he deserves it. Of course, I have thought about the consequences, but I know exactly what I'm doing. I am here to protect the well-being of my child. It is being threatened, and I'm sure as hell gonna do something about it. If you let me.